Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, thank you for joining me today. My name's Caroline. I am a full-time reseller on eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, and Amazon. This is the way I make my living, and I've been a reseller on eBay since I think 2012 is when I really started ramping up and taking it seriously, part-time, but then I quit my full-time job in May of 2018. So I've been reselling full-time for a little over 18 months now. And this video is a little bit different. This is just going to be about selling on swap.com. So most people know what ThredUp is and the RealReal. Well, swap.com is along those lines. It is a consignment store online. You can send in boxes of your stuff for them to sell and they pay out a commission on it. It's the RealReal up here where they're super picky. Only certain brands can even be sent in and considered, and higher end designer items only. ThredUp's kind of in here, but they're pretty darn picky. I've had some luck there, and yeah, they're pretty iffy, but they're not going to take your George or Faded Glory or any of the lower end like Walmart brands, whereas swap.com is kind of the lower end consignment. You could still send in some of the nicer pieces. Obviously they'd prefer to get all of the nicer pieces they can get, but they will also accept some of the lower end items. So that's what this video is, and I'm gonna get right into my experiences so far selling on swap.com. I have sent in 5 boxes now in the last 2 months. First, I will mention that you have to get approved to send in boxes, and you have to maintain a 20% or less rejection rate in order to continue to be allowed to send in boxes. That being said, I'm above that and they haven't kicked me off yet, so they're kind of keeping me on the line, so if they have too many sellers they can get rid of me at any given time, I guess. And they are less picky obviously than ThredUp and the RealReal, so your chances of being under that 20% rejection rate are pretty decent. So here we go. Okay guys, this video is about swap.com, so I'm not going to do a whole lot on ThredUp because most people are fairly familiar with ThredUp. But I just want to compare the payouts a little bit. ThredUp's payouts from $5 to $19.99, their current payouts are 5% to 15%. Last time I sold on ThredUp, I think it was $5 to $14.99 was a flat 5%. So I'm not sure. I would have to investigate a little further to see what determines whether it's 5 to 15. But the last batch that I sent in, if something sold out of it for $14.99 or $15 or whatever, I got 15%, which means I got 75 cents for that sale. Now, obviously, the percentage that you get goes up with the value of the item. So you do have an opportunity to make more money on some of those more expensive items. But if you're sending in like Coldwater Creek, Chico's, things like that, that they're going to sell probably under $20, you're not going to get very much back in your pocket at all. And they hold your mall brands for 60 days. If they don't sell within 60 days, you can either pay to have them returned, or you can donate them and they'll give them away in a rescue box or donate them and recycle them. 90 days for the premium higher end brands. On swap.com, there is no limit. So I'm not going to do a whole lot on ThredUp, but I just wanted to throw out that little bit of comparison. And then I'm going to come over here. This is Swap's commission structure. Anything under $8, you get 15%. So if something sold for $8, you would get $1.20 from swap.com. Ooh, sorry. Or you would get 40 cents from ThredUp if it sold for $8. If it sells for more than $8 on swap.com, your percentage goes up to 70%, but then you also pay a $4.95 per item fee for their shipping and handling and everything else. So after $8, you're going to be charged an automatic $4.95 from whatever your commission is, but you do get 70%. So say something sells for $10 on Swap, you would get $7 minus the $4.95, so you would get $2.05 back in your pocket. That same item sells for $10 on ThredUp, you're going to get 50 cents back in your pocket. So there is a little increase there, and that increase jumps significantly as you go up a little bit. You hit $15, you're going to get $5.55 back from Swap, or you're going to get 75 cents back from ThredUp. So that in itself is huge, especially if you can send them items that they will sell for between like $10 and $20. They're relatively basic items, but you can still make a lot more on Swap than you can on ThredUp. And they're not going to get rid of your stuff after 60 days or 90 days. So there's the pricing structure. You do have to apply, and they have a premium seller program, I believe they called it. Let's see, Premier Seller Program. So you have to apply. I had to fill out a little application saying about how many items I felt like I might be sending in a year's time, and I believe I had to give them like 5 examples of brands that I currently had waiting to ship to them. And I heard back within a week saying that I was allowed to send in a test box. So my first box was a test box, and out of that box, I believe I had a 22% reject rate. So I was not expecting to be accepted into the program, but then I got a notice saying that I was accepted and could send in unlimited boxes. You do pay for the shipping to send them a box. It comes out of your commission. So for each box that I've sent in, I'm charged $11.90. So that does come out of the shipping. And then if you want to have your rejected items returned, you can pay another $9.90, I believe, to do that. And that would be taken out of your commission as well. So here we're going to go look at my box or my items. They also offer this sure price system. You don't get to set the prices for your items, but you can set whether you want to wait a longer time for your items and get the highest price, or if you want them to sell super fast for a low price. Mine's just kind of been sitting here since I started. I've thought about moving it one direction or the other just to see what they do to the prices and how drastically they change them, but I haven't yet. I've just been leaving that. So down here it shows, it's loading them all, but I have 102 total items currently with them, unsold. And so I can scroll down and I can see what their prices are on each of the items. One thing I have noticed is that some items seem to get stuck and are queued for pricing for a significant amount of time. And sometimes that can be detrimental to the sales. If I scroll down here, let's find it. I have this Happy Halloween Devil's headband. It's been in there for 47 days, which right now it's November 18th. So they received this in the first few days of October, and it's still queued for pricing. So, and I only sent it in. I know they'll probably put $3 on it, and I'll get my 45 cents. But I only sent it in because I had multiples, and I was like, oh, I'll send them some Halloween stuff. They did sell a Halloween costume for me. But that one has been queued for pricing now for 47 days, and I'm guessing it's not going to sell until next October. So that's kind of a shame, but that's okay. And then we go all the way down to the original box that I sent in. And there are still some items left, 69 days old. Since my first box, these were from my test box, but they have actually sold quite a few items from that box. And I was kind of skeptical about some of these scarves, and a couple of them have sold, but I didn't know if they would accept them or not because some were unbranded and just basic like winter scarves with no branding or anything. but they took them. I've been kind of testing the waters with each box I send in to see what types of stuff they will accept and what they won't. And some of it is kind of surprising to me. The first box, let's go back up here and see my boxes. Here we go. The first box, like I said, oh, now it's 24% reject rate. I believe it said 22 before. 8 items have sold out of that box so far. And the items that were not accepted, I did not have returned to me from the first box because I was fairly certain anything but the scarves was going to get accepted. They accepted the scarves that I mentioned, but then they did not accept, it was at least 3, maybe 4 new with tag LuLaRoe items and 1 men's button-down dress shirt, excellent condition. It had the dry cleaner's tag on it, which may have been the reason they didn't accept it. I don't know. But there is no way to find out if you don't get the item shipped back to you what their reasoning is for not accepting. So there's that one. Now we go on to box 2, 3, and 4. And these I did have them send my rejects back to me because I wanted to get a feel for what they were rejecting and why. And I will say that the second box, it did have some items. I found little pinholes in the armpits from a tag or something that I had not noticed before sending in. And there were 2 pairs of shoes, I believe, shipped back in that box that I had been iffy on whether or not they might accept. So I did understand the items that I got back, except for one Titleist hat that I still can't figure out why they didn't take it. Because it was really nice, and I listed it on eBay and Poshmark, and it sold on eBay pretty quick. So not sure on everything. Then we go on to this box, and this one really confuses me because when I first looked, it said I had a 3% reject rate on it, and I was like, oh yay, I did it right, I did something good. And I got 1 package back, which was, oh wait, maybe the Titleist hat was this one, because I got the Titleist hat back in its own little envelope all by itself. And then when I looked the next time, it said I had an 8% reject rate. And I'm like, wait a minute, well, I know I got 1 item back, and 1 item is not 8%. And then I looked a few days later, and it said I had an 11% reject rate. I'd still only gotten the 1 item back. And so I was about to message them and ask, but then I got another package with a pair of maternity leggings back, and they had been tagged by Swap and then decided, I guess, after the fact that they were a reject. So I did get 2 items back, but it should have been a 7 or 8% reject rate would have been the proper number, and it stayed at 11, and I never got a 3rd item back out of that box. So I have no idea where there's got to be 1 more rejected item that I should have received back. I didn't receive back, and I'll have no way of knowing. But that's okay. That's beside the point. One of these days I might email them and ask them about it. I don't know. Then we go on to the 3rd box, and this box I did have a pair of Under Armour cleats, kids cleats in there. They did have some scuffs and stuff on them. They'll sell well for me. I haven't listed them yet, but they'll do okay for me. But that was kind of a test item that I sent in, and it came back. And a few other items that came back out of that, they were just like basic items that I assumed they would accept, but I couldn't really find any big flaws in anything other than the Under Armour shoes. And then we go on to this last box, which I did not ask to have sent back to me because I wasn't getting anything exciting back out of the others, and I was doing pretty well. So this last box, I thought I really did well on, and other than 2 pairs of jeans, which I was fairly certain were a little too old, they might not accept for whatever reason, I thought I did pretty well, and then I got a 42% reject rate on those. So, ouch. One of the items that came back on this one was another men's dress shirt, and it was
Fashionable was the brand, fashionable, $120 brand new shirt. It was not brand new, but I put it up on Poshmark on eBay for 20 bucks, and I'm sure it'll sell. I couldn't find any flaws with it either. But other than a couple pairs of jeans, I'm not sure what all was rejected from this one. I did not take pictures or itemize the list. My thought process in sending this stuff in was I just want to get rid of it as fast as I can and make a little something out of it. But I do know that one item in there was a Chico's top that was just a beautiful teal sequin covered top. When I packed it, I didn't notice any missing sequins. So I was kind of shocked. It was really pretty. I was kind of shocked it wasn't included in my listings once they went up. And then the 2 pairs of jeans that I was fairly certain they wouldn't accept. And 1 pair of shorts, which was in excellent condition. And they do say that you can send off-season items and they will accept them. They just say that you shouldn't expect them to sell right away. So I don't know if they were rejected for any other reason other than they didn't want off-season items. And the LuLaRoe, it might have been just because they had too many LuLaRoe items at the time. That's why I sent them into them, because I had tons of new with tag LuLaRoe and was trying to off a little bit. But so I'm not sure why. So I kind of feel like they almost reject enough to keep somebody on the edge, so that if they end up with too many sellers, they can be like, oh, you're at 25% reject rate, can't send us any more boxes. And actually, if they reject over 40%, there's a fee, I believe, there's an additional fee you have to pay out of your commissions for a high reject rate. So I'll have to look and see if they charged me that. They probably did. But yeah, there's one fee for if you're rejected over 40%, and another fee, a higher fee if it's over 50%, and another fee if your box weighs more than 50 pounds, and another fee if your box dimensions are more than, I think it's 20 by 20 by 17 or something are the max dimensions you can send in. So they do tack those fees on. I will have to definitely check and see if I got charged a fee for being over 40% reject rate. Ran out of space on that video. 15 minutes is my max, I guess, on this screen recorder software. But I can come here and show you. Obviously, I have 0 payouts for the first 15 items that sold, because all 3 of the return boxes and all 5 of the box fees to send in came out of that. So that's why it's 0 for my first 2 payouts, but I am starting to finally make money on it. So I'll have an 1861 payout. It pays out on the 1st of every month, direct into your account, or I think you can do like a check, or however you want to do it. But so this will be my first time actually getting a payout, unless in the next 12 days I decide to send in 2 or 3 or 4 more boxes and have that charge taken out of it. My plan is to kind of just keep it around 100 items there, and then maybe be getting $30 or $40 a month, but we'll see. So here you can see the average earnings per traded item, $2.77. It was up to $3.60 some odd cents for a few weeks, and then they did a 40% off sale, and it seems like every day in the last 2 weeks they've had a sale. So most of the items that I've sold lately have been at least 40% off, and that drastically dropped that average. But you can see I've sold 26 total items, 13 items in the last 30 days, $72 total sold. And you can scroll down and see what of your items have sold and how long they took to sell. So if I can get this to scroll properly. So like my first item that sold was a maternity dress, and the third item was a maternity tunic. Maternity items haven't done so well for me on Poshmark or eBay lately. They used to sell really well, So I'm thinking I might start pulling more of my maternity items to send in and let them sell, because those are some of my highest payouts also, 625 and 695, 275. This cheap one, the 45 cents, is one of the scarves. The scarves all came to me in a ThredUp rescue box last summer, and I was kind of expecting more like fashion scarves when I got the box, silk scarves and stuff, which I like selling. I'm not too into the winter scarves, and they were just mainly unbranded, and so I didn't care how much I was going to get for those. Just wanted them gone. Um, but yeah, you can see here's another maternity dress, and it was a $6.95 payout. So they do seem to have really good luck with maternity, and will likely be getting more of my maternity items, and probably more of my dresses, because they seem to do well with dresses. Uh, Except some of these here with the 93-cent payouts, those were items that sold on the 40% off. And then up here, every single item that sold pretty much in the last 2 weeks has been relatively cheap, and has been on the 90% off. Here's another one of the scarves. So the cheapest item they will price anything is $3, which this scarf was priced at. And then 40% off was like $1.80 or something is what they paid. And I got 27 cents out of that, which ThredUp wouldn't even sell anything for $1.80 or $3. They don't go that low, I don't think. So you wouldn't have a chance to make anything on an item like that through ThredUp. But this does give you a little bit of an avenue to get rid of some of those pieces and get a little something for them. And yeah, so some of these were priced closer to the $20 range, $15 to $20, but with the sale price, they went down drastically, and that takes the payout down quite a bit. But that's okay. They were just things that I needed to get rid of.
So that's kind of how Swap works and the types of commission you could expect. One thing I do want to add in comparison to ThredUp is that Swap does not take purses, accessories, or jewelry items, whereas ThredUp does, although somebody did tell me recently ThredUp may not be taking jewelry items anymore. I'm not saying that. I have not confirmed that, but somebody commented on one of my videos that's could be the case. But Swap will not take jewelry or purses. They will take like children's accessories, little girls' hair bows and little girls' purses, and it does specify in their list of items that you can send in that if you're sending like a child's purse, it has to obviously be a child's purse. So, you know, if it's Disney Frozen or something character themed, or as long as it's obvious that it's intended for a kid, because they don't deal in adult accessories. They will also take some children's toys, which you saw a couple of toys in my list, just things I had multiples of and wanted to send in. And they do have a list of what they will take and what they won't take, so you can see what items should be accepted and which items you should just avoid sending in altogether, which is very helpful. And really the point of this video, my conclusion in all of it, is it worth it to sell on Swap? Yes. Should you plan on making money selling on Swap, like intentionally going out and sourcing items with the purpose of sending in to Swap, knowing that you're going to have to pay the $11.90 shipping, and knowing that what your commission is going to be, and knowing that you don't control the prices? No, I don't think it's worth it. Maybe if you have a Goodwill bins and you go there frequently and you always find so much good stuff at such a cheap price, you would have good luck doing that. I personally don't see myself ever sourcing for swap.com, but I think it's an awesome site, better than ThredUp personally, to get rid of excess inventory. So I'm going to be doing that hopefully frequently, as long as they don't kick me off for having exceeded my 20%. I almost feel like I need to pack a box now and send it in before they kick me off, but I do think it's a great way if you're just clearing out your own closet and you want to get a few bucks for some items and you have good stuff all in good condition. I think that's probably your best bet to get a little more money than you would get from ThredUp. And if you have an overstock or some older inventory that you know still has value and somebody wants, but you're just sick of seeing it in your own closet, this might be a viable way to get rid of it and make a little extra money. So my grievances with Swap is that I really feel like they should provide some insight as to the items that they are rejecting. I am not going to be sending them any other items that are new to me that I really want to list that I know will sell. I've kind of done a mix of older items and new items, just trying to get a feel for what they'd take. But from here on out, I think I will be sending in some great stuff just when I get overwhelmed and don't have enough time to list it all myself, or stuff that I pull from my inventory that is just getting a little stale and I think they might do better with it, like some of my maternity stuff, because I have a ton of that sitting that is really nice and should find a new home. So that will be my plan with Swap and how I will use their service. I hope you guys check it out. It is kind of cool, and even for shopping purposes, the prices can't be beat. They're great, and if you sign up, you will get constant emails about 20% off, 30% off. Lately, it's been 40% off all the time. So the prices are great. You can get a lot of good stuff, and they do check it all. They make sure it's not stained, no holes, no nothing. So yeah, check out swap.com. If you have sold on ThredUp before or swap.com, let me know your experiences, because mine with ThredUp have not been that great. But I am kind of curious how many people have been part of this Premier Seller program, which is relatively new to swap.com, and if anybody's had a bad experience or been kicked off. But beyond that, beyond really wanting to know the reasons for the rejects, and I guess my other grievance is kicking people off if they go over the 20%, because it doesn't say necessarily if you'll ever be invited back, or if you're just no longer allowed to send unlimited boxes, but they may slowly limit your amount of boxes you can send in. I think there should maybe be a tier system. So if your reject rate's a little high, they may be like, oh, okay, no more unlimited boxes for you. You can send one a month, or one every 2 months, or one a quarter, or something. And then if you hit the next level, they're like, all right, we're going to let you send 1 box a year, and that's it. Or something along those lines. But I think it's a new program to them, and it's all going to depend on how many Premier sellers they get. So they're keeping me around because they don't have enough, then that's okay. But at some point, I have a feeling I'm going to get a message saying, you're no longer a Premier seller, goodbye. Anyway, I'm rambling. I do that a lot. If you watch my videos, you will know. And if you like rambling, and I know you do, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, come back for more reselling content. And thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you. Bye, guys.